Hello all, Alison here. Welcome back to Words and Pictures for the next stages of building our Halloween tag book. Obviously you can make your tag book on any theme you like, but given it's October 2025, this is what I'm working on. You can see we've got quite a bit of paper ephemera going, and today I want to have a look at sort of metal and words. That's today's task, and hopefully should be fairly straightforward. We'll see how we go. If you would like to catch up with how we got this far, then I will link to the Halloween tag book playlist, and you can check out all the previous episodes with the backgrounds and the construction and so on and so forth. So I'm words and pictures, and so almost inevitably I feel the need for some words on projects I work on. I've got a Halloween sticker book, Halloween clipping stickers. These are all from various releases over the years. Idea-ology, Tim Holtz, glorious kind of ephemera and bits and bobs to play with. The metal as well is part of that range. But they come and go. They're seasonal editions. So there is obviously a release this year, but it won't necessarily have exactly the same things. They tend to be variations on a theme. I'm just sort of looking around and debating where to kick in. Maybe with some clipping stickers, because once I know where words are going, then I'll have a better idea of where the metal is going. I've only got a couple of these fabulous little story sticks left. Unless there's another pack hiding somewhere, there could be. I already fessed up in the previous episode to being an ideology hoarder, as so many of us are, but I do try and use it. I don't, yes, these come from over the years, but most of the packs have had some sort of use going on. Wicked and Potion, that's good. She's got a shake well here, so that feels possibly potion-like. That's quite a nice little accent there. What I will do is add in some highlighting for that wording. So you can do that with paint, you can do that with a distress crayon. This is Lost Shadow. I'm not sure that's going to show up enough to highlight that word. I usually do it with the picket fence, which is the white. Well, that's quite good. I wonder if it would work with something green. I'm just wondering about salvaged patina as a possible. So that is the word potion, which is now a little more visible than it was before. I might spray that out with water, so a little spritz of water, and just get it all out again. For the most part, it'll be sunk deep into the bits, but if I get a little brush, stiff bristled brush or a toothbrush, while that distress crayon is still moist, I can get rid of it again. And I'm just wondering about putting in something bright. I must have salvaged patina here, surely. Got speckled egg. Sure, I've got a salvaged patina distress crayon. Yes, I have. There it is. No, that's Evergreen Bough. But oh no, it's too dark. See, I'm going to revert to my usual picket fence, I think. I like how the white gives you the clarity of the word. It's about contrast, as so many of these things are. If you can get some good contrasts going, then you can have drama and dynamism and interest and detail. That's one of the things about this tag book. Ordinarily, I don't think I would ever have considered putting these neutral tags with these vividly coloured ones. If I had added my metal before sticking my tag book together, I would be able to put a metal brad through here to hold this on. As it is, because I constructed the tag book first, I'm going to have to go with just sticking my metal stuff on, sadly, because if I stick a brad through here now, it's going to go all the way through to the tag on the other side, and at the moment that's not something I'm interested in. So we'll let that dry. Should be fine, should glue. If not, I'll try something a bit more powerful or sticky. Right, more words. Let's have a look. Oh look, The fragile texture of a spider's web has just leapt out of that page at me. And I've got this lovely cobweb going on here. It is extraordinary to me with these word stickers, how often something, just the exact thing you happen to need, just comes popping out at you. Up there, right in the spider's web, across the body of the beetle, just below the toxique. So I quite like a cluster of elements. I think that's quite an effective tool, but I do want that a little darker around the edges. So let's get the darkest of all darks. This is Scorched Timber, just to give that a little edging, little bit of detail. The devil, they say, is in the details, which is an appropriate quality for Halloween, I guess. Yeah, I think that's quite good, because also the colour of that is really reminiscent of the colour of the cobweb. So overall, that's a pretty good thing. If I'm feeling fussed about it, I'm just glancing at this potion thing here, I could later cut off the head of a brad and stick it on there as though it's going through, if that starts bothering me. That's nice. I like that. All orders promptly attended to. That feels like something that might go on over here. Feels like this chap. Maybe up there, maybe down the side. Oh, look, will it fit over? Yeah, that's quite nice, going up over the curiousness bit. If you're curious, all orders are promptly attended to. If there's something you want to know about, he will promptly fulfill your every desire. There we go. And that's nice, because that connects us to this bit down below. Might just free a couple of those strands to go over the top. So yeah, these are stickers, but I have found for longevity, as you can see, that adding a bit of glue can just help you in the long run to keep those stickers in place. That's dreadful. Silence of the Night. Haunted for life. Not sure about him. The silence. Ooh, that could be the silence, couldn't it? Over here. A little dark element to go with the 31. Yes, that's good. I like that. So I'm just allowing my eye to travel across these words in the stickers. I'm just seeing what jumps out at me. Maybe want something else metal. Got a nice metal thing here. What else have we got? Big round one. Oh, what about one of these nice little metal affairs? Lost and Found, Curious Oddities, Toxic Elixir. Ooh. Magic Potion. Oh, look, there's a Muse token in here as well. Twilight, that's nice. Hocus Pocus, bit too full of magic as opposed to oddness. Regions Beyond. I've always liked Regions Beyond. Dearly Beloved. Haunted Spirits. He does look somewhat haunted to me, this chap. I'm just wondering about whether those two round things are quite a nice echo of one another. Round and round. Round and round we go. I need something here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just glancing down and sort of thinking something needs to happen here. So maybe one of... Yes, look, he wants a round thing. I'm not sure it's Haunted Spirits for him, though. I feel like he's more of a Curiosities and Oddities. Maybe he's the Toxic Elixir. Look, he's got this lovely poison label here. So again, it's about... For me, it's about those little moments of just noticing when something you pick up ephemera-wise has a relationship to something else that's going on the tag. So that little poison label just suddenly said, yeah, I'm a Toxic Elixir. Have a go with me. So again, I'm just getting some picket fence up into that writing. And yeah, the white may not seem like a very Halloween-y colour, but I think in terms of, I don't know, moonlight and eeriness, I can make a case for having this white, which allows me to read the words clearly and also have it be the glint of ivory bones. or the glint of some white powder that they're poisoning themselves with. Just trying to get it up into the top of that X there. Can't quite get there. Toxic elixir. And then wipe it clear with just a bit of cloth. I may at some point have to introduce some paint if I can't get up into that little corner. Yeah, that's tasty. Because now I've got that balancing act between the black and white label, and the black and white of that. I am going to get out my Gloopier glue. So this is the Liquitex super heavy gel, and it's the perfect thing for kind of cream cheese or peanut butter level of gluiness, and it means this thing will hold in place right away. There's no sort of waiting for things to dry, hoping they'll stay put. That one is set. So as long as you leave them alone for long enough, you'll be fine. But given I'm about to probably turn this over and look at the other side in a minute, I want to make sure I've got something on there that's going to hold steady in the meantime. Let's have a little look in this sticker book and see if there's something that jumps out for this chap here. What horrors they had seen. Oh, it's good, it's good. Undertakers. Does he look like an undertaker to you? The grave digger has arisen. Ooh. At my chamber door. A lost revenge, an unfortunate ending. I sort of feel like he is being haunted, not doing the haunting. I rather fear he may be in for an unfortunate ending. Yeah, I like that layered with his lovely texture that he's standing on there. I think that works well. So again, I might just put a touch of glue just to make sure it stays in place. This is my usual Cosmic Shimmer. I love having the fine applicator, that's great, but any acrylic glue will do for gluing paper to paper. In fact, I'm not gluing paper to paper here, I'm gluing paper to plastic because there's a lot of embossing going on in the background there. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so where are we at? We've got some words on all of these. Did I not put glue on you? Oh, I see again. That's gluing over crackle. So you just need to pay a little bit of attention. I want something extra around and about. I'm just going to have a look at these. These are some Halloween quote chips from a few years back. That's a bit too bold. So I'm just seeing that's more of a cover thing. We'll get to the cover soon. So I'm going to hold off with those. I think that's a bit too much. But I do feel like I want something dark on this one here. So let's just see if there's any wording in black. Oh, well, you see there's another Toxic label, but that's a bit big. Apothecary just jumped out at me. Well, or maybe it's something else down here. Dorothy liked anything spooky. Hilarious. Good for Dorothy. A much misunderstood gentleman. Buses, carriages. I sort of want something about creepy crawlies if possible. Is something the matter? A fragile texture of a spider's web. We've already used that. This one's paler, which is a bit annoying because that would pop. It has come to dwell among us. I quite like that as one to go down here. Oh, but we've got those words there, so I don't want it in the same place. I don't want to go over the top of the beetle, so maybe it's got to go up here. It has come to dwell among us. No, I don't like that there. Just checking it out in other places. No, no. Oh, that's interesting. No, not quite. Not quite what we're after. Maybe it's something metal on here. Might be nice. I've got these large round affairs. Ooh, or there's a little skull and crossbones here, isn't there? Quite enjoy those. That is going to add some bulk to our tag book. But that's one of the reasons I left a little bit of extra slack on our hinging when we were doing it. I quite like that. Let's see what happens when we fold that up. That's good. That's going to be fine. It's going to get chunky, but I like that it's chunky. Not down there. Again, I might keep him around for a future thought. Let's have a look at one of these round things. The past, all that we see or seem, that's Poe, isn't it? There's some Shakespeare here, double, double. Not going to carry on quoting that because it's an unlucky play to quote from. With my theatre background, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Unless you're actually working on it, in which case you're fine, then it's allowed. Yeah, it's not quite right. Not quite what I'm after. Maybe what I need to do is turn over and have a little look on the other side. And then maybe come back to this. We've got a round one here. Maybe we want something else round over here. That's sort of my feeling at the moment. Where have my chaos on the desk? Chaos. Yeah, I'm sort of feeling the urge for something here. Haunted spirits, regions beyond, curious oddities. That would be quite good. At the centre of the spider's web. Ooh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Just drawing attention to that spider's web. I think we might do that. Gonna go again with my gloopy glue. Gloopy glue. It's very easy with this kind of thing to start second guessing yourself. Oh, I bet there's something better around the corner. And sometimes you just have to just go with it. Oh, look, I'm doing it without having been much easier to do this while I've got that there. I should do one with paint, shouldn't I, to show you how it works with paint. I'll try and remember on the next one to do a painty version, because you can absolutely smear acrylic paint into this lettering and wipe that off. Again, with that, you need to be a bit quicker to do your wiping, because what you don't want is your paint to dry on the surface of the metal. With these distress crayons, you've got a little bit longer to get that done without being left. And I'm now looking at that spider's web and thinking, I really like it without the round thing. I can't decide. I'm in one of those indecisive moods. If that's how you're feeling, then this might not be the right task for right now. I'm enjoying the spider's web unadorned at present. Let's go like that. Curious oddities. Maybe it's down there. Yes, that's quite nice, because now I'm travelling with round things. It's in a very similar position to that one, isn't it? Maybe it's better there. Oh, that's quite good. Then we get the leap up and then we go down. Let's see what happens if we put it a little further up. So that's a good journey of circular things. Quite like that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it before I spend too long doubting it. Somewhere there. Yeah, that'll be nice. And that means we've also got that relationship of those two metal pieces. Let's bob some of that on. And you can see it's so gloopy that at the point when you stick it down, that's holding to the point where if I now hold this up, that's not going to fall off. It's a really useful quality when you're gluing things. So the only one that hasn't got either any wording or any metal at the moment is here. Is something the matter? Let's have a look at these pages, see if there's something. Oh, and the other thing I did grab out, this little book of stamps, because I suddenly thought amongst the green stamps, because green is one of the colours creating the cohesion across these tags between the very subtle mossy neutral tags and those vivid rusty coppery patina tags. The green is the thing that is available on all of them, and I just wondered whether maybe some of these green stamps might be a nice extra boost to being green. It's not easy being green, they say. So for instance, something like that tucked in under her skirts, that's really quite enjoyable. Again, these are stickers, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of extra A, vintage inking, and B, a little bit of extra glue. And I rather like that tucked up underneath the fringe there. There we are. Nice. Other thing I've got are these tapes, which I've never really used very much of, but that would be a lovely little touch of black, wouldn't it? Let's see. These are brand new to me. They're, again, from a way back. Maybe it's just a little bit of wicked word. Just wicked. Let's trim it. Scissors. Because I think they might be quite useful for just a little black accent. No, it's not quite what I'm after there. I'll keep it around because we might want it. Let's have a look on here, see if we've got anything else. Wonderful secret. Mischief. Maybe it's that. I don't want much because I like the simplicity of this page, and I think sometimes you need to stick to the minimal. If you overload in one place or load up in one place, then it's quite a good idea to keep things simple elsewhere, so the eye gets a rest. So I said that would stay put, and then of course I moved it. I think we're probably safe to turn this over. I'm just wondering, somewhere I think I might still have some transfers. I could stamp onto these backgrounds. There's also the option of transfers. It's quite nice little poison labels and things. But they will be shiny. I'm gonna grab a couple of stamps just in case I want to add a little bit of extra detailing. Great, so a bunch of fabulous Halloween stamps. These fabulous cobwebs. There's lots of little labels on here, and I use this text, and especially these texts, even when it's not Halloween. They're just glorious for adding amazing fonts and labels and detail. So I think what I might be going to add in the corner of here is a bit of cobweb, because I think it'll be a lovely echo, those two. Or maybe a little bit of text. I think maybe that might be a nice bit of interesting font. Maybe too interesting. Maybe it's something simpler. This one here, look. And for once in a while, because I'm going over such vivid colours, I think I'm going to stamp in black. Not something that happens very often around here, as you know. Okay, so I'm going to have to watch myself. I'm not going to do it on the grid block because, of course, I don't want it going over onto here, and I'll just have more control about where I'm pressing down if I'm not on a grid block. That's just magic. Look at that text just catching light. I'm going to do some more of it down here. Good old Joseph. I'm aware that I'm not zoomed in, but it's because I'm trying to leave you a view of how the thing is working as a whole. And at the moment, that sort of swoop of embellishments is making me deeply happy. I'm enjoying that a lot. That really, really worked for me. That little bit of text just gives you some detailing that is really pleasurable. So I'm thinking I'll do a little bit more stamping. There's something magic about that vintage detailing that just brings a thing to life in a way that is both in the back of your head, but also somehow wakes things up. I'm so unused to stamping in black that's feeling rather in your face. So it was quite juicy, so I'm able to pick a little bit back up. But I could also go over with a little bit of gesso or a little bit of paint if that's feeling too strong for me later on. It's fading into the background a little bit now, but I might just grab a little bit of paint off there and rub a little bit into there. So this is an archival ink, so it shouldn't move around when I do that. I don't mind it on the vivid, that's all good, but just on those gentle neutral ones, that just was a bit too much for my brain because I'm so unused to stamping in black. There we are. That's just, can you see how that's just softened it into the background? I think what's moving on there is not the archival ink, but something that was underneath, maybe some pumice stone inking on the tag originally. But that's nice. I like that. I like that. I like that. Might put a little bit of cobweb down below, but I haven't learnt my lesson with the black now. I might do this in grey. Just a little bit of cobweb detailing. Around the corner of here. I think that might be fun. That I could do, because that's right on the edge. That I could do with a little bit of support. So this I will put on a grid block. Typical. And that does need the black if it's going to show up. So here's a thing. If I dab my ink on, I'll get one kind of ink impression. If I've already done some dabbing, so I'm just going to, if I sweep or sort of brush the ink on, it should give me a slightly softer version. Yeah, that's nice. Nice round the corner. Again, I'm just going to maybe lift up a little bit. Just drawing the eye into that skull. Good. I'm going to turn over and play much the same game on the other side. Let's just let you stay put. Glue spurting out everywhere. You probably all saw that happen, tried to warn me, and I've been busy doing other things. And I'm sort of in two minds about whether you stay with me for that process or I just get on with it myself, and then you get the lovely surprise of seeing how it shapes up in the end. I hope you can see how those just little extra bits of stamping, metal and wording are just creating more detail as we go. I don't want to overload things because I love the backgrounds. This of course is the cover, that's why that's got nothing on yet. Yeah, so I'm going to carry on adding little bits of metal, adding some wording, and I'm going to invite you to stick around for the close-up at the end where you'll get to see what's been added to each of these tags. Thank you, as always, for your company. I'm absolutely delighted that so many of you are playing along and creating your own tag book as we go through the course of October. I hope that if you're sharing it on Instagram or anywhere else that you will tag me in so that I can take a look. I find it just delightful that there's this company of crafting going on. So thank you as always. If you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. Stick around for the close-up. I'll leave, as usual, details of what we've been using down below. But as I say, there are seasonal releases, these Halloween ideology things. So you'll find this year's, but not necessarily exactly the same thing. Thanks so much for watching, and happy crafting all.